So I went to San Diego Comic-Con last week, and as it is with most of my trips, I ended up learning something new. I usually don't go to concerts, so I will say that I have never been in a place where there's so much concentration of people all at the same time, just trying to move. And by the way, this video is also going to be tying into my opinion about the One Piece live-action TV show that was announced recently. Because a lot of people have been asking me, Sawyer, what do you think about this announcement? So the first day I was there, it was just basically me trying to gather information about how to increase my odds of being at the right place at the right time. Because I knew the Justice League cast was going to be there, and I was under the assumption, the wrong assumption, that the main cast of the Avengers was going to be there. So I wanted to try and get close to those events. Just as a very brief side note, I think it's important to have like a mental note of, if you decide to go, have a mental note of who you want to see at Comic-Con. Have at least 3 picks, A, B, and C. That way, if your A doesn't work out, if your number 1 pick doesn't work out, you have a plan B. Anyway, come to find out that in order to get into these Hall H panels, which are the panels that you usually see uploaded on YouTube, all right, in order to get to those panels, the main events, and possibly, just possibly win the chance of a celebrity signing one of your posters, you literally have to spend at least one night sleeping on the sidewalk in line, okay? And I'm saying just for the possibility of getting a signing, because so it turns out that once you get to the front of the line, all right, once you're done sleeping on the sidewalk, you don't get a ticket. You enter a raffle, you enter a drawing to see if you won the chance of getting your poster signed. And if you're one of those people that would gladly do that just to be able to get into a panel or just to get a poster signed, you know, props to you. But I wouldn't do that personally. My rationale is, well, first of all, these panels are going to be they're going to be recorded and they'll be up on YouTube sooner or later. And also, and perhaps most importantly, contrary to popular belief, celebrities are still people, and I don't idolize them enough to actually want to spend a night on the sidewalk for them. But again, if you would do that, you know, my hat's off to you, props to you. Anyway, I arrive at San Diego at my hotel, the one I had booked, and the first thing they tell me is, your room's not ready yet, you know, hasn't been cleaned up or whatever, so go someplace else and we'll call you once it's ready. So I'm like, okay, I have my bags. I'm walking down the sidewalk with my bags and I go to the convention center. Eventually the hotel calls me up and they're like, so it turns out that we overbooked our hotel. So there are no rooms available anymore. And I'm like, wait, what? I booked my room like 2 months ago. What are you talking about? And they're like, wait, don't worry. We're gonna send you to another hotel that's, you know, under our same company or same like brand or whatever, and it's closer to the convention center. So I said, okay, cool. And so it turns out I got pretty lucky because, as I showed you in my One Piece reaction, the hotel that I was sent to was right next to a theater that was having a Conan O'Brien taping. They were recording a show there, and so all you needed to do was just stick around the entrance to the theater to get a glimpse of like celebrities. And I saw Conan O'Brien there. He's a pretty cool dude.
I have your cue cards from May 9th in Burbank.
I remember that show. Those were funny jokes.
Conan, can you kill this roach?
I definitely think that Conan is a very fan-friendly celebrity, and there's a lot of celebrities that just wouldn't sign or wouldn't stick around to talk to fans or anything. They would just like run by and get into their vans. But Conan O'Brien, as well as Olivia Munn, who plays Psylocke in X-Men, was pretty fan-friendly. And also Gwendolyn Christie from Game of Thrones was great as well. So I really appreciated that from them. And so it was outside of that theater that I learned something by observing. I noticed something that helped me out the next day. So I noticed that when the celebrities would come in and out of the theater, people would yell, people would, you know, scream out their names and come sign my stuff and woo! And it was this whole thing, right? But then I noticed that there were also other people coming in and out of the theater that weren't famous. Representatives, publicists, assistants, technicians, security people. And I thought, wait, hold on. If I really wanted to get close to these celebrities, it would make logical sense that they would be the people to talk to first. But see, Like, usually fans and people don't think that way. You know, once you're in fanboy mode or in fangirl mode, it compromises a lot of things. And I feel like it's about the glamour and it's about that one celebrity. But you don't realize that celebrities are people surrounded by a team of people with jobs. And so I thought about that. Went back to my room, got up the following morning, and made my way to the DC booth inside of the convention center to talk to people. And literally, talking to those people was the only reason why I was able to get as close as I did to the cast of Justice League. So that's me right there, trying to set up my shit. And that's the cast of Justice League behind me. And I just want to give a huge shout out to Mr. Schelling for helping me out, and also Allison for helping me out as well. Really, really thank you guys. Because if it weren't for them, I definitely would not have been able to get these shots. It just got way too packed. Like, it got so packed. Gal Gadot actually uploaded a video on Instagram. I'll leave the link in the description so you can see how packed it actually was. It was just way too overcrowded. And the thing is, they didn't even make the announcement public about when the signing was going to be held. All right, if you looked at the schedule, it said Justice League TBA. So they never announced it publicly. They wanted to keep that information on the down low because they were afraid that so many people would show up that it would eventually turn into a frenzy, which eventually it did. It happened anyway. And it wasn't a security issue like for them, because I don't know if you've seen these guys, but these guys are tanks. Probably with the exception of Flash, each one of these dudes can definitely hold their own in a fight. I mean, Gal Gadot was in the army, all right? She has training. I don't know if you've seen Aquaman and how much of a tank he is. I mean, so before the signing, he was in Hall H, and he was literally running around, all right, in the crowds of fans with his trident, all right, just running around like crazy. And the reason they let him do that is because he's so much of a tank that it's not very probable that a fan would take him out. Anyway, the event got way too overcrowded. The security started showing up. Not the security for the celebs or the security for the booth. The security for the convention center showed up and basically told us this entire area has to be cleared. Nobody can stay here, because if people stay here, this area right now is over capacity. And if it keeps being that way, we're going to have to shut the entire thing down because it's violating fire codes. And so the fire marshal is going to have to come in and shut everything down. So I was like, wait a minute, like, I can't get a shot. They haven't even looked this way. And so I was just trying to get a shot, right? Really desperately. And so here's the thing, right? We know from the trailer that Wonder Woman has observation hockey because we saw her dodge that bullet in the trailer. So at this point, things are getting bad because people are packed like sardines, just shoving and pushing each other. Security's at the front. And I literally felt like Luffy at Marineford with my camera. I'm trying to get to Ace. I'm trying to get a good shot of these guys. Hopefully at least one of them turns around and looks at me or looks at the camera, right? And so, you know, people get frustrated and they're angry, they're angsty, and like security's pushing us back and stuff. And I'm like, what do I do here? What do I do? Oi, yamero, yamero. I just thought it was kind of interesting how she was literally the only one of the cast to look over. Anyway, I also learned some stuff from the Marvel Studios people, the people at the Marvel booth, but I'm going to save that for when they decide to finally drop the Infinity War trailer, which I know has already been leaked and stuff, but I'm going to wait for them to release it officially so that I can kind of talk to you guys about the stuff that I learned from Marvel. Of course, while I was out there, it turned out that the big announcement that they were kind of hyping up for the 20th anniversary of One Piece was that they were going to announce a One Piece live-action TV show. And so here's the thing. I have to be honest. If I hadn't gone to Comic-Con and if I hadn't become aware of like these teams of people and like these people holding jobs to make a big chunk of the entertainment industry work as organizers, as publicists, as, you know, just staff, I probably would have made a video ranting about how we don't need anything like that, how like the manga is like the best and it can't be adapted. It would just be way too weird because One Piece, the goofiness of One Piece, the art style of One Piece is specifically made and designated for manga form, for the manga medium. And also as a One Piece fan, I completely understand the skepticism, to a certain extent even the cynicism and the protectiveness of fans when it comes to the source material, because the manga for One Piece is so good. It's not just an adventure, it's not just a shonen. It's almost sometimes borderline educational, right? It's a great story, it has great unique characters, great teachings, great morals. It's an experience for a lot of people, and so I completely understand why people would be hesitant and skeptical about the live action adaptation. And to be fair, we have a very good reason to be skeptical about this thing, because Hollywood doesn't have the best track record when it comes to adapting manga and anime into live actions, okay? So much so that we kind of felt, I feel like this is how we feel, but you may like write down in the comment sections and disagree, but I feel like a lot of the anime fans feel like Hollywood has disrespected the franchises by not living up to the source material, or by disrespecting the source material in these adaptations, so much so that we feel offended ourselves and we feel disrespected ourselves when Hollywood does these things. So I completely understand, and to a certain extent even agree with that mentality. However, because of what I saw at Comic-Con, and just getting to meet these teams of people trying to make these projects work, and I know it's not the same studio or anything, but the sentiment that I got, the feeling that I got, and my perception was that none of these people are waking up every morning. They're not getting out of bed thinking to themselves, what anime franchise can we completely ruin today? Yeah, let's pick a franchise that we just want to make fun of. Let's just completely trash it by making a live action adaptation of it with horrible casting. No, that's not what they want. All right? They want it to succeed. And I think maybe the issue is that they haven't figured out how to do that in the past. So with that said, and mainly because there's a huge lack of information still that we just don't know. We know the studio, the name of the studio who's going to be in charge, and we know the name of the main person in charge of the live action One Piece adaptation, but that's about it. I also think I read a report somewhere that said that the person in charge, has been a very, very big One Piece fan throughout the years. So that's all we know, very little info. So because of that, as of right now, I'm willing to give the project the benefit of the doubt. I'm trying to remain optimistic because my hope is that one day, somewhere in the future, we can finally bridge the gap between the Hollywood entertainment industry and their movies and the superhero movies and all this stuff, and the manga and anime industry, and build a bridge between those two things. And then you can kind of realize that really they're not all that different. Do you guys have any casting requests for the show? Because here's mine. Margot Robbie as Android 18. Whoops, different anime. Look at it this way. If the project flops, if it doesn't work, then we still have a great manga to enjoy. And if it does work, if it is successful, it gives the series more exposure, okay? And brings more fans in, which granted, look, there's another thing I have to say. One Piece is going to get popular from here on out, no matter what. Why? Whole Cake Island's about to end. We go to Reverie. After that, it's Wano. One of the most anticipated arcs in the entire series, all right? Second to the finale of One Piece. Also, once the Olympics start, they're going to be in Japan. So they're going to be like showing One Piece characters and merchandise globally every chance they get. And so if the One Piece live action show is successful, all right, and in its quality, it can increase the fan base and help it reach that milestone of like pretty much almost everybody in the world knowing what One Piece is. And is that a bad thing? I don't think so. It means that you have the opportunity to connect with other people that pretty much love the same thing that you love, or at least have the same interests in some regard. I don't think it's a bad thing. In fact, I think that's what One Piece is all about. One Piece is about making connections and bringing people together. And again, even if the live action show doesn't live up, we still have the manga. That's still ours. And as far as I'm concerned, that's just rating One Piece, as a manga has been one of the best investments of time I've made in my entire life. So that's it for me. Those are my thoughts. Tell me your thoughts down below. Like the video if you did. I really appreciate that. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Catch you guys later. Thank you. Bye.